I'm Mike Doherty, and you're watching the E3 edition of Doherty Report on ChipTube Gaming. What's up, players? And this week is E3, and I am going to do a recap for every major press conference. And by that, I'm kind of playing it by ear. EA wasn't really worth my time to do a recap. Bethesda wasn't really worth my time in doing a recap, so you're going to get an Xbox, I assume a Sony, maybe a Ubisoft one, and a Nintendo one. All Doherty Reports broken out each individually, day by day, after the conference happens, just breaking down everything that happened during that conference. Again, this is my opinion on what happens during these conferences, so go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let's have a conversation. So first up is Microsoft. Microsoft went Sunday in the afternoon. Basically, Microsoft, to me, in my eyes, they were the ones that had the most to prove out of the big three, which is Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft. They're the ones that need the most momentum. Nintendo built back their momentum, Xbox needed to build back their momentum, and we could have had the Power 3 all driving on full momentum. But Xbox, in my eyes, didn't come out and didn't do what they needed to do. They fell flat on the one goal that they had, and their one goal was basically have everybody walk away from that conference going, I need an Xbox One X, and that's not what happened at all. They showed you the powerful hardware, they showed you the new sleek design of the hardware, they showed you all the cool teraflops, all the many flops it's going to have, but where are the games? If you're going to come out and say you have 42 games to show and it's a 90-minute press conference, I should walk away saying, this is why I need the Xbox One X. You just unveiled hardware. Why aren't I walking away with this? Especially with 42 games you had to show. I only walked away with one or two that I would want to play. And at the end, you showed the best game of it all, and I could get that on my PS4, and I could play it on my PS4 Pro. Overall, Microsoft had the most to prove, and I think they really fell short of everyone's expectations. It looked like they were going to come out punching with a lot of their games, a lot of their unveilings, and Xbox still doesn't know what an exclusive is. They don't know how to brand exclusives. Apparently, so during the show it says launch day exclusive, meaning usually most people means at launch it will be an exclusive and eventually come to other consoles. Apparently that's not what that means. It just means it's going to launch as an exclusive, and then it also has another exclusive tagline, which just means exclusive. It's all really confusing and convoluted. Xbox doesn't know how to brand very well. It made sense to be able to say launch exclusive, which just means timed exclusive, and then say exclusive to the Xbox One, and that just meant it's exclusive to Xbox One. They didn't do that at all, because I don't know why. They're just not good with naming, and Xbox One X is a terrible name as well, but we'll move past that. We get it. Xbox isn't very good with branding. But let's get into what happened during the conference and the things I took away from it, wanting and thinking were cool additions to the gaming sphere. They kicked off the conference unveiling the new hardware, the Xbox One X. It's going to launch November 7th of this year for $500. It's really sleek. It's actually smaller than the Xbox One S, which is the slim version of the Xbox One. See, it's already getting too complicated. There's already too many pieces of hardware on the market, but I digress. The hardware is actually really cool. It doesn't even use fans. It uses liquid cooling vapor chambers, which are used for usually high-end servers and high-end PCs. We now have it in our homes in the Xbox One, which is really cool because that opens the door for other consoles to use it down the line. But at a $500 price point, that's really expensive, especially for something that, honestly, walking away, I can get that I could play the same games, I could get that experience that I want somewhere else. Sure, I'm not going to be able to play the games at 60 frames per second in 4K, but I can still play the games. And honestly, all the tech side of it, it really doesn't matter. You don't care if you're playing Mario at 60 frames per second at 4K and 60 flops a second, 4 terabyte. I don't even know these specs. It makes no sense to me, and that's why I'm not going to go down all the specs of the Xbox hardware, because I'm not one to understand about it, nor do I give a flying. Hardware means nothing if you don't have games, and they showed games, but a lot of meh. There's only 2 or 3, maybe 4, like, oh my, like this could be a really cool game, or this is a really awesome game. Most of the time it was just meh. They looked like games that just come out on the PlayStation Store on a regular day, or Xbox Store, on a regular day that just kind of release and you don't really hear about them, or they don't really get marketed. It looks like they just took those games and put them up on the big screen and said, look, games. More of the same, nothing really pushing boundaries, and the games that did push boundaries are on all platforms. So again, walking away from this not really wanting an Xbox One X. We got our first peek at Assassin's Creed Origins. It's taking place in Egypt. It looks interesting, and I'm going to be interested to see if they changed up anything from last time. Of course, this is the first Assassin's Creed that's taking a break and isn't annualized, that took those 2 years to actually really get into the game and really get changed and develop as time goes on. Excited to see if they switch up the gameplay, especially like the parkour aspect of the gameplay, because this is my least favorite part of those games. They're just clunky and they just don't feel good to me, so that's why I don't really like the Assassin's Creed games. So I'm excited to jump in and see if they actually change that up, especially during their extra year that they got to develop the game. Metro Exodus was also shown. It looks fun, it looks interesting. I want to play it again. I really like the ambiance of the Metro series. I'm going to be excited to see where this one takes us. Really looking forward to it. Life is Strange prequel is shown. It's coming out this year, August 31st. As well as what everybody's been waiting for, Anthem. Anthem gameplay was finally shown at the end of the conference. It looked amazing. It was like Horizon cross Destiny cross Titanfall. It was amazing. Like, this was the one game that made me go, wow, like we're in a different era of games, because you can go from air to underwater to land to cave dwelling. It was insane. Iron Man style suits that fly around, and you can fly around in and go anywhere. It's super open world. It looks, honestly, it's a dream game. Obviously this wasn't an in-game. There wasn't a game HUD on screen. They weren't playing it right then, right there, like live. So I'm excited to see if it can live up to the promise it's shown, but so far I'm all in on Anthem. I'm very excited for BioWare's next game. This looks phenomenal, and it looks like it's pushing boundaries of games that we haven't seen before. Of course, we saw Forza 7 because you show new hardware with card games, because card games really show off the power of the console and what it can do. It looked gorgeous, of course. It's just another racing game, not really a big racing guy, unless it's a kart racer and unless it's Crash Team Racing. Then I'm all about it. PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds was also shown. This is, of course, on Steam already. It's coming over to the Xbox One. It looks interesting. I'll jump into it with KB and Connor. Give it a try. Again, it's just more of the same. It's just a team-based shooter. It didn't really wow me. I know KB's really into it. I'm not really into it for me. I will jump into it, see how it looks, but at the time being, it's more of the same. State of Decay 2 was shown, and oh my god. I'm done with zombies. I don't want to see any more zombie games, but State of Decay 2 looks phenomenal. It had me sold on the multiplayer survival aspect of it, where I can get Kyle and Connor to jump in with me, and we can build a settlement, and we can defend that settlement, and we can find other people, and other people can betray us, and we can betray other people, and we can build the settlement and get away from the zombies and try to survive as long as we can. I really like that idea of it, and especially in the State of Decay world, just how kind of quirky it is, and just it looks really good, and I'm really excited to see how this game pans out. Will it live up to everything that it's saying? Of course, this is always the question you should have when you watch one of these press conferences, because of course we've seen it not pan out, i.e. No Man's Sky. They showed a game called The Darwin Project. It looks like a third-person Overwatch, essentially. A very cartoonish, very interesting, just kind of not like a battle arena game where the last one to survive basically wins, kind of like a take on the Hunger Games, which makes sense why they're calling it the Darwin Project. Minecraft's getting a big update this summer, and the biggest news out of this is not only it's 4K, which is really weird that Minecraft's going to be in 4K because it's just pixels, but it is gone cross-platform. Microsoft has finally done it, and people on the Nintendo Switch will be able to play with people on the Xbox One. This is insane. We haven't seen this. We've seen this with Sony with PC and PS3, PC and PS4, but we haven't seen it with two actual console developers. So Nintendo, Microsoft working together there, doing the cross-platform play. It's going to be interesting to see if Sony gets in on this. Right now they are not announced for the cross-platform play. I'm going to be interested to see if this pushes them forward to be able to do something like this in the future, especially with something like Rocket League or Minecraft craft, something that has a lot of weight. They also showed a game called Last Night, and I am all in on this game. The art style, the cyberpunk feel, and just cyberpunk city. It's a side-scrolling platformer. I'm not really sure yet. It didn't really show a lot, but something about this game, really, the aesthetic of it really grabbed me and pulled me in. I will be picking this up day one. I'm intrigued. Again, not necessarily something that shows off the Xbox One X's power, but a really interesting exclusive and grab from Microsoft. Another really interesting trailer they showed is the Artful Escape. Now, no one knows what this game is. It looks, he has a guitar. It looks real artsy. That's all they showed. I really like the humor they had toward it. At the end of the trailer, I said, release when it's good and ready. There's not a lot to say on it because they didn't show a lot of that. And I feel like that was most of these games that they showed at this conference, basically. Like, if it wasn't coming out this year, they basically gave you a vague trailer saying, it's something. Like, Artful Escape, he has a guitar, and we're not going to show you anything more to it. It could be an RPG, it could be a side-scroller, it could be a complete action adventure game. Who knows? But I'm excited to see where it goes. We just need to get away from the space of feeling like we just need to show something, and I feel like if Microsoft took out a lot of these trailers that didn't really show a lot and aren't coming out this year, we could have cut the press conference down to 60 minutes. Sea of Thieves was showing the gameplay and what you can do, and oh my gosh, I can't believe it's coming out this year. It's not coming out this year. I don't know how they missed the mark here. I don't know what they had for this holiday. Now at the end of the Doherty Report, I'm going to run through everything that's coming out this year. I cannot believe Sea of Thieves is not coming out this year. They need exclusives for this holiday because Sony is going to be beating them over the head all year. But overall, Sea of Thieves looks really cool. It looks like a really cool concept. It has great potential for exploration. It's basically a multiplayer pirate exploration game, and I'm all about that. But it looks like it's going to lose an audience really fast. If it gains any audience, it's going to be a very cult audience, so it's not going to be a very diverse cornucopia of a multiplayer audience as I'm sure they would like. So I'm going to be interested to see if people actually attach themselves to this game. If they do, it's going to be a success. If everyone starts playing this game, it's going to be a success. But if only a little cult following attaches themselves to this game, it's not going to sell very well because people are going to jump in and just have a lackluster experience. I'm also very interested to see how much of this game you can play by yourself, if you can play at all by yourself. I know it's all about the multiplayer experience, so we'll see how this one pans out. I'm hoping all good things. It's coming out early 2018. Steve Gaynor's game, Tacoma, coming out August 2nd. One of those trailers that doesn't really give you a lot to go off, but we all know Tacoma, Steve Gaynor, very trusted developer. I'm excited for this. This is actually a great nab, a great exclusive for Microsoft. And the fact that it's coming out during summer is going to be a great opportunity for them to get out of the cluster that is going to be in fall and be able to shine and say, look, this is an awesome Xbox exclusive and it's going to sell, because games in summer sell because there's nothing in summer typically. Cuphead also got a release date this year, September 29th for this year. Also a big game that they needed to get out. They couldn't push this any longer because if they did, it would have been a very No Man's Sky-esque scenario where they finally put it out and everyone's going to be like, well, this is just overhyped and overblown and we don't want this anymore. This next game was also a very interesting choice for Microsoft to showcase, Super Lucky's Tale for the Xbox One X. It's launching with the Xbox One X this year. It's a kiddie 3D character platformer, which does it understand that Mario's coming out this year? Does it understand that Mario will be coming out holiday 2017? And it's very much going head to head with it because everyone's going to be talking about that platformer and not Super Lucky's Tale. Overall though, I am very interested in this game. It looks exactly like my kind of game. I like these kinds of games, these little 3D platformer, character platformer games. I'm into it. I am the platformer guy. I'm interested to see where it goes. My only issue with it, that it looks a little too kiddie. It looks a little too storybooky. It looks a little too Saturday, not even Saturday morning cartoon, because that would be dope if it was a Saturday morning cartoon. It looks like Disney Junior kind of style game. At least the opening, it looked like that, but the gameplay looks awesome. It looks fun. It looks a little challenging. It looks a little more challenging than most kiddie platformers do. Super excited for Super Lucky's Tale. The more 3D character platformers we get, the better, because I want them all, because they are all amazing, and I miss the 90s. Oh god, it's like 20 more days till Crash Bandicoot comes out. I can't wait. Then, boom! Terry Crews was at the conference. Not at the conference. He was in this trailer for Crackdown 3. Crackdown 3 looks awesome. It knows what it is, and I think that's why I like Crackdown so much, because it knows exactly what it is. It's not trying to be serious. It's not trying to be grounded. It's not trying to tell you an awesome story. It's trying to get you to blow some shit up and throw a car across the map, and I cannot wait. Another game that I'm probably going to jump in for a week or two and then get really old or bored or distracted by something else. Not knock on Crackdown, just on my attention span on games like this, especially multiplayer games like this. I won't be playing it for very long, but the time that I do play it, I'm sure it's going to be a blast. Crackdown 3 is also launching with the Xbox One X, and it looks like this is going to be their big holiday game since the Sea of Thieves has been moved to next year, early spring. And do you like games where people have no eyes? Well, Ashton will be right up your alley. Having the same problem that most of these games have, it just looks more of the same. It's cool art style, really creepy that they don't have eyes. Looking like a third-person hack and slash, almost dungeon crawler-esque game. Don't really know what it is. And from what I've seen of it, it looks like any other game that they would have released on a Monday on PSN or Xbox Live Store. Another one of these meh games that could have just been released on the store and not really showcased in front of everybody. It's like, we got new hardware. Here's this game that could have came out yesterday, honestly, but we're just showing it because we need to show something. And I feel like this was the vibe of the Microsoft press conference, was they were just showing you games to show you something. Not because they had something to show you, but because they needed something to show you. They just got games off the Xbox Live Store that are coming out. And then we got Ori and the Will of the Wisp. The art style is beautiful. It's more Ori. You can't go wrong with more Ori. No release date on this game. Again, it's not going to let you down. If you liked Ori and the Blind Forest, you will like Ori and the Will of the Wisp, I'm sure. Again, beautiful game, very artsy game. Interesting to be showcased at the Xbox conference, because games like that usually are at the Sony conference. So good on Microsoft for showcasing games like this. It's very important to our industry, and it's very cool to see art pieces like this get shown at big conferences like this, showing that our industry is not just about games like Crackdown, where it's like all out action and blowing shit up. It can be artful, it can be artsy. And it's very important to have games like this. So it's cool seeing Microsoft kind of embrace this side that we usually traditionally see from Sony. Overall, the Xbox E3 2017 press conference was good. It was really good, but Microsoft didn't need good. They needed killing it. They needed amazing, and they didn't deliver on what they needed to do. Because they didn't deliver, it fell flat. It feels like it's Sony's game to win at this point. We will see Monday night if that is the case, because like I said, Microsoft had the most to prove coming out of the gate here, and they had the biggest weight on their shoulders to catch up, because they've been so far behind 2 PS4s that every Xbox One sold. They needed to catch up, and they needed to gain some ground, especially with this new hardware announcement, and they didn't deliver on the amazing press conference that they needed to give. Now they give a good press conference. They give a very solid press conference. But when your competitor is killing it, we haven't seen Sony yet. If Sony comes out and bombs, this could just be a very bad year in gaming altogether in terms of showcasing things. But if Sony comes out and kills it, of course, you're gonna look like small potatoes. Because Sony has been killing the hype train. They've been killing press conferences. They know how to put on a show. They have it down to a science now. And it's something that Microsoft really needs to take note of, because Sony doesn't just give a good press conference like they used to. They kill almost every year with this amazing Year of Dreams like press conference. So we'll see what Sony has up their sleeves. I'm sure it's amazing. So we will see Monday night at 5 o'clock. I'm just going to run you through the games that were shown at Xbox's conference that are coming out this year. Like I said, very important for a console to launch with games. Hardware needs to launch with games for it to sell well. So these are all the games that will be launching this year. not necessarily with the Xbox One X, but in the same year as the Xbox One X. Assassin's Creed, Life is Strange, Forza will be launching on the day of the Xbox One X. PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, the Minecraft update comes this summer. Tacoma, August 2nd. Super Lucky's Tale launches November 7th with the console. Crackdown 3 launches with the console. Cuphead coming September 29th. And that's it. That's absolutely all the games they have for this year. And some of them aren't launching with the console. They're launching before the console. We have maybe 3 launch games with the Xbox One X. They are in trouble. Microsoft is in big trouble with this piece of hardware. They think that they could just put out another piece of hardware without games and think that it will sell. They have another thing coming to them. So it looks so far that the launch for the Xbox One X is Super Lucky's Tale and Crackdown 3, which is troubling beyond all belief, especially if Sony comes out and says God of War is coming out this fall, or if Days Gone is coming out this fall. It's going to be very interesting to see where Sony lands and in terms of where Microsoft's going to be able to compete in the market this year. Microsoft's in trouble, and they're not dead in the water. They just didn't perform how they should have performed at E3 this year. And I almost think it's too late for them to be able to make up that gap between PS4 and the Xbox because of Sony and their lineup coming. For Sony's first couple years of the PS4, there was no real good exclusives until I think 2015 was when the first good exclusives started to roll out. And now they have all in the chamber. They have a bullet in every chamber for every year, for every season of the year. All 10 of their first-party developers have PS4 games. They're all just boom, 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 boom. They have third-party exclusives. They have second-party exclusives. They are going hard, and they have basically a stacked roster. Microsoft had their chance back when Sony didn't have games. Now that Sony has games, I think it's going to be even more difficult for them to make up that gap. That very, very big gap between the PS4 and the Xbox One. We'll see. We still have a week of E3 to go, so let me know in the comments down below what you think. If you like this video, go ahead and like the video down below. Go ahead and subscribe and share with your friends to help us get bigger and better. If you want to see our last Doherty report, click right here. And if you want to see me yell at Tim Geddes about playing him at CTR, click right here. Stay with us all week for E3 coverage right here on Chiptooth Gaming.